Hi. It's not raining. You're inside. I don't know why you're doing that. Well, good day. Welcome back to the channel once again. I'm trying to get this old 1978 Firebird finished up here today. It's got 19,000 miles on it. It's been parked up for quite a while. I did a YouTube short on it, just getting started on it, and it got some attention. I figured, why not do a full-length feature film, to finish it up. Goal today is get the carburetor back on, which I rebuilt last night. Obviously get it running again, probably change oil, drive it, and finish cleaning it. If you saw the short, the mice got in this thing really bad. I guess with that being said, let's get started. Yeah, well, I guess first things first. Go ahead and get the carburetor back on it, because, before I smash my phone and lose all the pictures I have of all this stuff, it was bolted in there. I do want to change the spark plugs now, even though it only has 19,000 miles on it. It's only really been driven around the yard here and moved around short distances over the years. Could be a carboned up plug. You hate to have it running bad when you're trying to dial in the carburetor or whatever, so we'll just do that so it's good. And then we got to put the fuel pump on, put some gas in it. I pumped all the old varnish gas out. It was bad. I really hope the tank's good. We'll see. And then get it warmed up, change the oil, and then see if it breaks down on us. Now, by no means was this carburetor wore out at all. It was just extremely dirty. Pretty much it's just new seals, new needle and seat, a good cleaning, and I hope that's going to do it. Obviously the throttle shaft, all that stuff was pretty much brand new with the low miles, so I didn't even touch any of that. I didn't touch the choke, none of that stuff, because I believe it all worked. So we're just hoping it'll make it run and not leak all over the place. It's amazing, given its mouse situation here. They ate half of the hood insulation from here to here. It was gone. Never touched a thing underneath the hood, not a single vacuum line, not a plug wire, not anything. They're on the engine because I found, things, but it was fine. EGR. Friggin' hippies. All right, should probably replace this little chunk of holes there. Oh, the 70s, the years of vacuum hoses and all that. Where did that go? How did that work? Did it actually go into there? It's been a little bit since I took this off. I think that slid into there like so. That's a positive crankcase ventilation tube. Then this piece of rubber slid over it like that. Oh, okay. I really can't wait to take this off 7 times. Now if I can find the bolts or the nuts. There we go. All right, carburetor's all on. Everything's tightened up. Got all the vacuum lines and linkages all where it's supposed to be, so that's good. I was going to do spark plugs, and then I realized that, yeah, I know they're AC Delco, but they only gave me 4. So, shit! So we can't do all 8 of them, so that means I'm just not going to do any of them right now. However, I do have some B12. I'm just going to pour it on it and hopefully clean up the supposedly original 19,000 mile plugs, or if they're changed, then they're even less miles. So, oops, mistakes happen. Starting to feel a little familiar here. I just changed the fuel pump on my 1980 Ford Pinto wagon. Some of you might remember that. Looks a lot easier on this 351. They're kind of encased on a 2.3, because with the Pinto being that, I guess there was, had problems with them blowing up from the back. They were also worried about them blowing up from the front too. But you can bet that I did not put the safety thing back on because I also like to live dangerously. So, tires are rotten. I don't think they're original, but they're definitely not good. Continuing. Right down there she is. Already got the lines unhooked, obviously. Looks like it's about what was it on the Pinto? It was like a 13 millimeter or something silly. Almost looks like that might be what it is on this. Well, either way, I'll go down there and get that plucked off and get the new one on. Of course, per usual, never remember my electric wrenches. So here we are, struggling. Slowly. But surely. Okay, there's room to get to this fuel pump on here. I did not expect that. I figured it'd be buried behind some kind of a vacuum pump and some 1970s anti-smog save the daisies equipment, but no, it's right out here, right out in the open, where it belongs, which is nice. Alright, well, here it is, as you can tell. She functioned, but it was blowing fuel out of this. I don't know if that's like a vent or a weep hole, or if there's supposed to be a piece pressed into that, but it was spraying directly out of here onto the oil filter, up onto the exhaust manifold. Anyway, made in USA, so probably original, of course, obviously. And the other one was probably made not here, so let's see how well that fits. Delphi Technologies. Where was it made? China. Figures. Just gonna make sure it goes underneath the lobe on the cam or the crank, which I suppose you should probably put it like in like number 1 TDC or something. You take it apart, but I just use my starter trigger, get the pump up there, just bump it over until it fits. It's worked before, so I'm sure it'll work again. Make sure these things are somewhat relatively close. I know the one on my Pinto was slightly different as far as the shape of the arm here. But these are pretty much dead on, which is nice. So anyway, I gotta see if I gotta bump this thing over at all, and then I go ahead and glue the gasket on here so that it's in position when I throw it up, and then we'll get the fuel lines hooked up, see if it runs. Alright, got the block all cleaned up down there. Gasket is tacked on and in place. I didn't even have to bump it over, actually. It was in the right position, but I did, however, make sure that when this is in there, that lobe is pushing down on this and not up, because apparently if it pushes up, this probably snaps off and gets into the timing chain and into the pan, and these be out of business at that point. So anyhow, I'm going to toss this back up in there, get the lines on, and I guess put gas in it and fire it up. Alright, there we go, fuel pump on. The situation here is temporary. I just wanted to put a fuel filter in pre-fuel pump, because I don't know the situation of that gas tank back there. I assume it's going to have some crud in it, but I believe it's going to be alright. I just wanted to prevent any debris from getting into the pump, and certainly the clean carburetor. Plus, it's the wrong size fuel line. I brought all 5/16. It's actually 3/8, I think, but it'll work for today. I'll correct that down the road, or just put a regular piece of rubber in there if the fuel tank ends up not being terrible. But either way, that should catch the first round of debris. Hopefully that'll be it. Anyway, that's that. I also took it upon myself to grease it while I was down here waiting for the gasket to dry onto the fuel pump. So that's done. Got my battery situation a little more secure, finally. And it's been hooked up now for a couple hours, and so far it hasn't started on fire yet. So that's good. Okay, post-mouse infestation rule number 1 with vehicles is never leave the battery hooked up unattended, especially in a building. You never know. It could start on fire. I mean, you could leave them hooked up. Just make sure you got full coverage. Put it out in the middle of a field and just wait for the sirens to show up. And chances are in the middle of the night, if you hear sirens, it's exactly what you think it is. Supposed to go ahead, throw some gas in the tank, and try to light her up, metaphorically. Hopefully. So one thing I always kind of chuckle at is watching folks put gas in vehicles. They're usually struggling with it, especially with the new cans, the never flows. They're holding them upside down and trying all this stuff and struggling and spilling gas all over the place. What I usually do is find the rug from 1968. They'll throw it up here to protect the paint a little bit. Grab your full gas can, gently set it down. Siphon hose. Done. Now you can walk away or just stand here and think, I guess. This is just way easier than fighting. I wonder how much I should actually put in here. I think it's probably a 20-gallon tank. These are 6 gallons apiece. I'll probably put, 7, 8 gallons in it. So I got a little left over in case I make a mess. See, isn't that much easier? I think it is. Okay, I'm gonna put a few more gallons in it out of this other can here, and then we'll try to start it. Well, what I'm hoping happens is fuel pump starts to kind of prime on its own. Otherwise, I'll have to feed some carb cleaner down that to get it to prime. But for now, I'm just going to fill the bowls up with some of this True Fuel. In theory, that the 2-stroke oil in there will kind of lube up the new parts in the carburetor and also the top end of the motor. Got the fire department over here on standby because you never know. All right, key on, wipers on. That's right, the wipers take a lap every once in a while. That seems more excessive than usual. Stop running! Wrench check. All right. Oh, didn't seem to have a massive leak down here. That's pretty cool. All right, hopefully we got that taken care of. Had a little bit of an issue on the flared fitting on the pressure side of the pump. I believe it was just not sealing in that taper in there. I played around with it enough to where I think the steel line is seated back. Got on with the vice grip and tightened it as hard as I could. It doesn't seem to be leaking now. So let's try to fire this thing one more time and hopefully this goes better. For some reason the choke does not seem to work, but we are going to try to up the idle a little bit, maybe. Give that a try. Hi. I just plugged that off there because there was a vacuum leak. I believe that goes into the air filter housing there. I'm going to let it warm up here a little bit, check for some leaks, and probably get it outside, and I'm going to run the Berryman through it. Hopefully that helps clear it up a little bit. This is all carboned up, I'm sure, real bad. Probably wouldn't hurt to actually check the cap too. That could be pretty corroded. Exhaust doesn't seem to be restricted, so that's good. Alright, on the list of shit I forgot to order. The rotor and the cap definitely seen better days. Very corroded. I'm going to clean these up as carefully as I can, and then it should hopefully run a little bit better and get it outside and adjust on the air fuel a little bit. It's also getting warm really fast. I got to check to make sure there's enough antifreeze in it, but she's got a little pressure in it right now. Hopefully it's not a stuck thermostat or something silly. I do have my temperature gun here. I can see where it's at before something explodes in my face. So that'd be good. Clean this up and see how it acts then. Well, I farted around the air fuel a little bit. It's still running kind of rough at idle. When you rev it up, it's okay. But mind you, the air filter base was not on there, so there was several vacuum leaks. Messing with the air fuel seemed to make it a little bit better. But I think now we'll just do a Berryman tune-up here and probably pull it back in the building, change the oil, and go out and drive it. It just needs to be driven. I'm sure them plugs are terrible, so hopefully the Berryman helps that. Other than that, it is a runner. Thermostat seems to be functioning. I hit that with a hammer. It's full of coolant. Let's give it a Berryman tune-up. Oops. Fed it a little much. Whoops! I got a vacuum line, no wonder it runs like shit. I gotta figure out, I can't remember if that was capped or if it was if there alignment to it or something, so I gotta discover this quick. And then maybe I'll mess with those air fuels a little better. Alright, I did some research. This is just a cap.
must have fell off, or maybe it was gone to begin with. So shove the screw in there, a little electrical tape, so that vacuum leak's done. It doesn't appear to have any more. I farted around with the air fuel. I mean, you ain't gonna balance a quarter around it, but it's running a lot better than what it was. I think it just needs to be driven. So first, let's get it back in the shed and change the oil.
I think it's actually kind of dieseling, like the timing's off or something. Problem is I don't have a wrench to get down there to loosen up the distributor clamp, so I might just have to leave that alone for right now. Well, it wasn't great, I'll tell you that much. Why did Ford go away from this convenience of having the filter right where the drain pan is? Not, drain pan here, filter somewhere over yonder, up next to the exhaust manifold where you burn your hands and spill oil everywhere, and it drips in your driveway for 3 days and smokes and looks like you're starting on fire. Why, Ford? Why'd you do that? Ugh! God only knows how many miles are actually on this oil. Actually, it doesn't look... never mind, it looks horrible. Alright, well, normally on my older vehicles, I'd run like VR1 or T4 with tiller or something in it. I don't know if this is good oil or not. It's cheap, but here's the reason why I'm putting it in here. Although it's low miles, this thing sat around for a long time and driven short trips around the yard and whatnot. So it leads me to believe that there probably is some buildup in the rings or somewhere in that engine. What I usually like to do in these cases is run these with cheap oil in them for like 500 miles, maybe 1,000. Let that stuff get broken up out of there and then change it right away. And it doesn't pay to throw the expensive stuff in there right away and then run at 3,000 with that crap floating around. So the next owner, they'll just be aware that change it soon and put the good stuff in when the time comes. All right, we're getting kind of wrapped up here for the most part, getting ready for a test drive, but there's one more thing I want to do before that happens. I want to try to get those off the dash. Those are dryer sheets. Normally meant to repel mice, but the mice around here use these to wipe their ass with because they are completely piss-soaked and baked into the dashboard. I've soaked it with cleaner and anything I can think of, and they're just stuck. Also, you've heard the song Trail of Tears. Well, that's a trail of piss. That's where the mice have traveled, because everywhere they go, they leave a trail. So we're going to try to clean this dash up a little bit and then go for a quick drive. So, to try to get this stuff off, bought this handy-dandy little $40 steamer from Harbor Freight on the way here. It appears to be a scraper of some kind. The goal is to try to, steam it off of there. We'll give it a try. I really hope I can get that off of there. Problem is the dash is actually rusted where that was sitting. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but we'll give it a try here. And probably since mouse piss steam is probably not the best for you to breathe in, this will at least ways help. All right, let's see how this works. Don't blow up in my face. Seems to be working. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, that is disgusting. I guess one thing, the steam is actually killing whatever germs is in there, so this ain't as bad as you would think. I ain't doing this paint any favors up here, but you know what? Oh, there's a big one over here. Oh my God. Yikes. Well, it's working. Ugh. It's gross, but it's working. I'm sure the steam isn't doing the speaker any favors, but I have a needle nose around here. What sons of bitches? Ooh. I don't know about way up there. Luckily, that seemed to kind of peel off on its own. All right. This is a plastic razor blade, don't worry. All right, well, here we go. Maiden voyage. Luckily, it's got brakes. It's running, I don't know. To me, it almost seems like the timing's off a little bit, which I don't know why that would be. Did it die? Still running. This thing needs glass backs or a Flowmaster or something. Ooh. Well, the rake joint's shot, I can tell you that much. I know how to play in the steering. Hopefully it holds together enough that I don't go steering this off into a cornfield, because that would be bad. I'm going to roll the window up because the fumes. She stinks, you know. So far, running good. It's not overheating. Speedometer is working. So that's good. I should probably take it easy. These tires did not look the best. They didn't look good at all. But what a nice driving car. I see the sun's doing me really good favors with the camera. Got some snot to it. Going on the road, it's fine. Clock even works. I'm not even going to try the heater because damn. Okay. See ya. Anyway, I'm going to go drive this thing and get it washed up, and we'll take a final look at it with it finally clean.
rescued low mile 78 Ford Thunderbird here. Sure, it needs a few things. It's not perfect, but here's the thing: it's gonna be for sale. But I don't want to see it fall into the wrong hands. So I'm hoping somebody out there is gonna take this car and give it the little extra love and attention it needs to make it perfect again, and just enjoy the thing. I mean, it's running fine. It's driving great. So what I'm gonna do, and I don't ask for this often, but at some point, probably next spring, but maybe this fall, it's either gonna be on Marketplace or maybe it'll end up on an auction. If anyone out there is interested, what you could do is just go over and follow Smoking Gears Garage on either Instagram or Facebook, and I'll post a link to whatever it will be on that. Of course, I'd like to take a little more time and do a little more tuning, and definitely get a cap and motor, plugs and wires, and just get it dialed in just a little bit better. So with that all being said, thanks once again for watching, and we'll see you next time.